what happened in The Man Who Erased His Name. Basically, I'm gonna explain a little bit what happened at the end of Yakuza 6, because why did Kiryu erase his name? So, there was something happening with the Daidoji. Daidoji, it's like a private agency who has ties with multiple federal governments of different countries. Here, the Daidoji are housed in Hiroshima. They have some ties with governmental officials in Japan, and also they have some political tie-in and influences when it comes to ruling parties with the Diet and everything. So they Kiryu was in the know about some of the Daidoji secrets, mainly like the big twist of Yakuza 6 with the second Yamato ship and stuff like that. And then apparently, like the old man who was ruling the party was presumed to be dead, and usually it's not information that's available to the civilians. So they were kind of afraid that Kiryu would talk. So they were hoping, like the big wigs in the Daidoji who also has seats in the Diet back then, big government influencers. Like basically the Daidoji is kind of like the agency in Archer. Like this is the closest thing I can think. It's not like the FBI, it's not like the CIA. It's like their own private company. It feels like, you know, like the agency in Archer. Like they have their own. They work in the dark, and they have their own code names. Like it's not like the Men in Black where they erase their identities. It's like usually they take people who had no family, who had nowhere else to go, who, if they were erased, it wouldn't change a thing. So they were expecting Kiryu to shut up by using money. He said no. And then they used we're gonna mess up with the orphanage if you don't cooperate, which pisses Kiryu off. But him being a reasonable man, he said, I'll die for you. If me being alive is if me talking is gonna be a problem for you, might as well erase me. Like, make a fake a death certificate. I'm gonna erase myself from the society. Like, the kids are growing up, they don't really need me. And yeah, Haruka is gonna be really busy raising his own child, so she doesn't need him anymore. And the kids are growing up, they're going to school. They don't need him to be around. So he faked his own death. And there were funerals, which he didn't attend. Then he were put in a temple where he was like meditating, stuff like that. And he was mentored with a shrine priest who helped him, figure him out what he's gonna do, and like that, like helped him with his new life outside of his life per se. So he was given the code name, which was Joryu. Some people were trying to figure out, like, is it going to be a pun? Is it a pun name? But don't overthink it. It's like, it's just a name. So he had some bodyguard missions. Like, he was like one of those hired men who like people would hire the Daidoji. They're gonna send in some guy to do bodyguard stuff, to do deals in the dark, like maybe counter some illicit gain stuff. But basically, yeah, it was a race. Nobody's supposed to know that Kiryu's alive except the Daidoji. So some of the agents inside the Daidoji kind of knew who Joryu was, but they swore in secrecy, so they're fine. But then there was some sort of a trap made by the Omi Alliance. So there were some... We didn't know it was the only alliance back then. It was just like regular Yakuza, masked men. And then there were some people who had ties in the Yakuza world, kind of recognized Joryu back then. It's like, hey, that's the Dragon of Dojima. And he was kind of scared and shocked, but he was still in with his I don't kill anyone philosophy. And he was respecting it pretty much, but he was in such sort of business that where that's gonna be a problem with him. Like, he can't kill anybody, but he's meeting people who recognize him. So, long story short, that was the Omi Alliance. There was the acting captain of the Watase family, since, if you remember in Like a Dragon, the Watase was still in jail, so there was an acting captain who was leading the family while he's in jail, you know? And he was about to be released soon. They were trying for years to contact Kiryu, and they didn't believe for 1 minute that he was dead, because they're not stupid. The body was never found, that they made some funeral. Of course he's alive. Nobody, no crime, right? So they needed Kiryu for their big plans, the plans that we know back in chapter 12 of Like a Dragon, which was the dissolution of the Omi Alliance and the Tojo. So they needed remaining big Tojo guys. Like, there were the two main pillars, like Majima and Saejima, but there was also, you know, the chairman, Daigo. So they needed more guy on the Tojo side. They they haven't met with Ichiban yet, but yeah, they needed a strong man from the Tojo side, and Kiryu was like, no, I don't know who Kiryu is, you got the wrong guy, I'm Joryu. And he was committed to the act. Like, the Omi Alliance trying to negotiate with Kiryu, but it's not like they were like, okay, try to respect what I'm doing. I can help you out, but I cannot help you out as Kiryu Kazuma. Like, he didn't try to talk to them like that. They were really much like, you got the wrong guy, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm not Kiryu, blah 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 blah. So the Omi were desperate. They kidnapped Joryu's handler, a guy from the Daidoji, saying, okay, if you don't, I understand that they understood that the Daidoji had a strong collar on Kiryu's neck. So yeah, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna kill your handler, so that way you can become Kiryu again. So he was not like, no, if you do that, they're gonna mess up the orphanage, you know? So Kiryu has to punch his way through the Omi Alliance, trying to talk to them and explain the situation without saying anything, which is kind of hard. They were forcing the Omi to tell them first what they needed him for, right? And there was also this whole situation in Sotenbori, where there was another upcoming strong family who was part of the Omi Alliance, who had this boat, which was basically an underground casino, or kind of like money plane, but as a boat, and the boat is as big as a castle. And basically, it was a replica of Osaka's castle turned into an amusement park for grown-ups. So there were casino, there were games, there were coliseum, there were underground fights. There were basically, it was anything goes. Like everything that's illegal in Japan, you can do it in Osaka's castle, including slavery. Like if you had too much debt, you can pay your debt by becoming a slave or being used in the arena, being a disposable junk. And the guy running the place was a guy called Nishitani, who happened to be basically a Korean who was from the Song. Was it the Song? Well, it was a Korean mafia in Yakuza 6, led by Jung Gi-han, the first one, not the body double that you know in Like a Dragon. The original Jung Gi-han that got killed. So he was a remainder of that. And this is like the last guy who needed to know that Kiryu's still alive because he has a grudge. Because of what he did in Yakuza 6, of course. And basically the in-between guy between the Kirin clan and the Watase family was a guy named Shishido. That's not his real name, but he had also a code name as well. Basically, he was one of the guys who worked under Watase and knew who Kiryu is, or was. And basically was one of those classic thugs who started from nowhere, climbed to the top, punched his way out to become the best. He was basically the Omi Alliance version of Kiryu, but for the Omi Alliance. And but he has a different philosophy. Basically, Shishido would have been what Kiryu was if Kiryu didn't do what he did since the beginning of the saga, you know? Went to jail, like, tried to reform himself, taking the daughter of his loved one, raising a family, having a civilian life, stuff like that. So, it was like a darker version of Kiryu, even though they looked nothing alike physically and mentally. But it's what if? It's a what if, basically, because he's just as strong as Kiryu, and he had a lot of battle scars. So at some point, the Omi Alliance managed to get into contact with Kiryu. And what they did was they bought since they're going to be dissolved anyway, might as well get rid of all their assets. So they used almost all of their money to buy Kiryu's contract, air quote, with the Daidoji. Like, we're going to take care of that. If you let go of Kiryu, we're going to take it from there. We're going to respect all the engagements you had with him, but we're gonna be taking care of that from now on. So they ended up paying 500 billion with a B to the Daidoji. Or was it 50? 50, no, it was not 500, sorry, it was 50 billion. 50 billion yen to the Daidoji, which rounds up to $500 million. $500,000. No, $500 million, yeah. 50 billion, 500 mil. Yeah, so half a G. No, not half a G. A G's grand, but it's like, anyway, half a B. Eric, the half a B. Anyway. continuing on the little story. So they had a plan about dissolving the Omi alliance, but they knew that Nishitani and the Kirin clan would be against it. Like, even before they were announced, there were some factions that would be strongly against it because the Kirin had the most to lose. Like, if they're no longer Yakuza, what's gonna happen to Osaka Castle, So basically, they tried to take care of Nishitani. He faked his death, and when Watase got out of jail, Shishido turned out that he was in on the plan of not betraying the Omi alliance, but basically, from his point of view, it was like Watase is the traitor because they're letting go of the Yakuza life. So Shishido, who was basically in charge of killing Nishitani, pretend to kill him with a fake blood toy, a lot of blood. Okay, he's dead now. There's a lot of blood and the guy's not moving. No, basically it was a decoy. So Shishido managed to round up all of the Watase family and the Kirin clan to attack the traitor, which was the acting captain, Watase, Kiryu, and basically some Daidoji agents. Anyway, so basically they fought them off. Before the meeting, and when the meeting happened, like, Watase was injured, so he tried to pretend that everything was fine. He had to take a strong face, which leads us to the chapter 12 of Like a Dragon, when Ichiban with this gang, along with some Tendo and the Tojo pillars, took care of the Omi alliance who was going to revolt. So yeah, it went fine, and then there was a guy who tried to stab Watase. And the reason why it was very important, because he was already injured. He already had a knife wound, and he had some clean clothes, and makeup. So he was trying to pretend that he was still strong, but he couldn't not take another blow like that. So this is why Kiryu had to step in and save the day at this big shocker entrance with Ichiban and the gang, basically. So in the end, there was a big fight with Kiryu and Shishido between the strongest philosophy about moving on, since Yakuza is going to be lawless and there's no more room for them. We have to reform them. Versus we were nobodies before we were Yakuza, and if we lose being Yakuza, we were going back to nobodies. We don't have any other trade. What are we going to be like? Being in working in a private military company, like in PMC, having like Luke from Street Fighter as a mentor. Fuck that. So there was those clashing philosophies, and Shishido would fight to the death. So what happened basically was Daidoji. The Daidoji took Shishido and Nishitani. They're gonna be Daidoji agents, and they're gonna have a short leash on them. And in the meantime, since there was a big mechanic with Kiryu, having like smoking cigarette would heal some heat. So during when he was in the Daidoji, he would smoke a lot. And the reason why I'm saying that is going to be important in this game. You'll understand why. Kiryu smoked like a chimney for 3 years. And after that, like they were like, the Daidoji gave him a reward with sending him a video of, on the anniversary of his death. They were like the kids paying his respect to the empty grave. And then there was 2 of the children who were adults by now. Like little Haruto was 4 years old now. And then there was Erika and Toshi, I think, who were the two eldest were adults with jobs. They kind of noticed like the light reflecting on the camera lens of the hidden camera was spying on them, and they say, it's probably placed in by Kiryu, since nobody even at the orphanage thought for a single minute that Kiryu was really dead. So basically, Kiryu erased his name, faking his dead, and nobody would give a fuck about him, believed him one iota. Everybody in the Omi Alliance thought that he wasn't dead. Everybody in the Tojo, even Majima, is like, he saw him. Okay, there's a bodyguard, looks like Kiryu, who has the same back tattoo as Kiryu, but his name is actually Joryu, give me a break. So, and even at the orphanage, nobody believed that he was dead. So, basically, they saying, okay, we're doing fine, here's what we're doing, there's a little job, and we're gonna give you a little gift on your tomb for next time. So basically, Haruto gave him a little drawing of the family, and that broke Kiryu emotionally. That was like, he was ugly crying. I don't remember when was the last time Kiryu was ugly crying like that. He probably did in Yakuza 3 or something, but the quality of the image when he was crying was brought me to tears myself. And even the snot, like he was crying on the tablet as the video was running, and he was ugly crying so much that his snot was drooling from his nose. So there was tears and snot on the tablet, and he tried to wipe it up with his sleeve, and it was, dude, disinfect that screen right now, because a sleeve's not gonna be enough to wipe that all out, you know. And basically, what Kiryu said was, I thought they needed me, but it turned out that he needed them more than they need him, because he was lonely. He couldn't see. Hello, Tyler. I'm doing good. I'm about to play Like a Dragon soon. I just wanted to say a little recap of what was happening. The man who erased his name, since I'm not going to be playing it. I'm almost done, by the way. So we're in 2024. He wanted, since he was Kiryu was kind of free, wanted to go in Hawaii, because this is where Yumi always wanted to be. So that's in one of the church in Hawaii. That's where he dropped the ring that he was gonna give to Yumi to propose. He kept that ring with him since 2005, and that was amazing. And like, we wanted to Kiryu could have been matched with so many potential girls, but he kept himself single because he still had a flame from his first crush who passed away and gave birth to Haruka. So, and right now, like, Kiryu has gray hair, he has a new haircut. I don't think right now his fake identity, it's Taichi Suzuki. So, yeah, thank you for sticking out with me with that little